All right, let's just jump right in. I mean, think about it. We're all using AI for pretty much everything these days, right? From figuring out our work schedules to, helping us with really complex coding problems. It is an incredible tool for sure, so convenient. But as we pour more and more of ourselves into these systems, you got to ask, what's the hidden cost here?
Look at this. This is the kind of thing we're asking AI. We ask it things we might not even be comfortable saying to our closest friends. Really personal questions about parenting, our health, our relationships, even our deepest, darkest secrets. And it's in those vulnerable moments that we're basically handing over the blueprint to our own minds. So, what happens with that blueprint?
Well, it turns out these AI systems are developing a pretty surprising skill. It's one we rarely, if ever, talk about, and it goes way beyond just answering our questions.
A technologist named Mark Suman actually gave it a name, thought capture. So what is it? It's the process where an AI doesn't just hear your question. It learns how you think. It starts to understand your reasoning, your biases, your emotional triggers, and your vulnerabilities, maybe even better than you understand them yourself. Just think about the sheer amount of information we're feeding these things. We're offloading our entire cognitive and emotional lives into them. Work problems, how much we make, tax questions, parenting struggles, health worries like sleep apnea, relationship drama, the whole shebang. So the point isn't just that we're getting answers. The real takeaway is that we're giving these tools a direct line into how we reason, how we react, and how we see the world. And this is where it starts to get a little bit unnerving. Because, once a system understands exactly how you think, it also understands exactly how to influence you. And that intimate knowledge, well, it could be used to manipulate not just one person, but entire populations. Suman uses this really powerful metaphor of turning the dials. Just imagine a centralized power having the ability to, what? Amplify certain ways of thinking and just kind of quiet down others, all across millions of users. And listen, this isn't some far-off science fiction movie plot. This is the very real potential of the tools we are all using every single day. Now, these manipulation tactics, they're not exactly new. Social media algorithms have been using them for years. But AI, well, AI supercharges them. It can personalize these psychological tricks on an individual level because it knows your specific weak spots, your emotional triggers, and it can weave these ideas into what feels like a perfectly normal, helpful conversation. So this isn't about some loud, obvious propaganda. No. The real risk here is the quiet, almost imperceptible nudging that can steer public opinion on a massive scale, all without anyone even realizing their thoughts are being gently shaped for them. Okay, so the obvious question is, why can't we just trust the companies building these things to do the right thing? Well, the scary part is, even they don't have all the answers. And that leads us straight into what's known as the black box problem. You know, this classic meme from the software world, it honestly captures the state of AI development perfectly right now. Experts have pointed out that even the creators of these huge language models don't fully get why they work the way they do. They are, for all intents and purposes, a complete black box. And this really shows us the two very different worlds of AI we're choosing between. On one side, you've got the closed black box systems most of us use. Their code is a secret, they're definitely using our data for training, and we have no clue what kind of deals they've made behind the scenes. But on the other side, there's a model for an open and verifiable system, one where you, the user, are actually in control. So that brings us to a potential solution. An alternative that completely flips the script and puts the power and, the privacy back where it belongs, in the hands of the individual. The concept is called sovereign intelligence, and the idea is actually pretty simple, but it's totally revolutionary. It's that you should be able to use powerful AI without having to surrender your mental autonomy or your personal data to some giant corporation. So how in the world does that actually work? Well, it's built on a foundation of transparency and trust. The code is open source, so literally anyone can look at it and check it. Your data is end-to-end encrypted, which means nobody, not even the company running the service, can see it. And you get actual mathematical proof that the code running on the server is the exact same code that's been publicly verified. The user is in control. Simple as that. This quote really just cuts right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? The cloud is really just somebody else's computer. When we use most of these AI tools, our most private thoughts and data are just sitting on a stranger's server, totally accessible to them or, to anyone with a subpoena. A sovereign system changes that whole dynamic. So what this all really boils down to is a fundamental choice.
It's a trade-off that we are all being forced to make, whether we realize it or not. And if we look at history, this choice has been a total landslide. In one example from cloud computing, something like 90% of users chose the less secure but more convenient option over the one that actually protected their privacy. It's a tale as old as time, right? We consistently trade our privacy for usability. And here it is, the final choice laid out for all of us. On one side, you have convenience. It's easy, it's seamless, but it leaves you vulnerable, and it requires you to basically outsource your thinking. On the other side, you have sovereignty. Yeah, it demands more conscious choices, but it protects your data, it resists outside control, and most importantly, it preserves your autonomy.
At the end of the day, as we weave AI more and more deeply into our lives, it stops being just a simple productivity tool. It's becoming an extension of our own minds, and that leaves all of us with one really critical question to think about. Who are you willing to trust with the keys?